Hello, my name is Deborah Levine, and I'm an award-winning author, founder and editor of the American Diversity Report, and contributor to the Huffington Post. Most of my books and articles have been about cross-cultural communication, and there's a good reason for that. It's needed. I coach and train government agencies, nonprofit NGOs, universities, healthcare facilities, and you name it. Why? Because it's so needed in today's world. We are connected through the internet, but we also travel, and we will find in our workplaces many different cultures, as we will among our vendors and our markets. And we want to grow those markets, so that cross-cultural communication expertise is absolutely necessary. So what is it exactly? What is cross-cultural communication? It means that you are able to communicate across cultural boundaries. They may be national, or they may be generational, and cultural diversity covers many, many topics, from gender to generation, from ethnicity to race, to religion, and national origin. All of these details dictate how people hear and understand us, and how we share what we know and who we are. And so how do we do that effectively? Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we have some things in common, as different as we may be. And those things are basically our social structure. The themes of society, according to cultural anthropology, are fairly universal. We all have a political system, education system, healthcare system. We have a religious system, and maybe more than one. Those are the kinds of things that we as a culture have created and given our own flavor in our own cultural community. When we open the window and let someone look in, we enable them to experience our culture and to better understand us. And that is what cross-cultural communication is all about. Can you be understood? Can you understand? Can you work together, be productive, and do amazing things together? So this is a team effort, even though it certainly depends on your individual abilities. And that's where we come in with the matrix model management system. The first part of it is to look at the triangle that is our cultural map. The first part of the triangle is geography. Where are you? It seems like a simple question, but it isn't. You can be in a city, a state, a region, a nation, a corporation. You must decide where you're speaking from as you start your communication process. History will also help you define your geography. Is your city one of the oldest in the country or one of the newest? That's one example of how history can shape, where you are and where you're coming from with your communication. Once you've matched your geography with your history, then we move on to the next part of the triangle, demographics. Yes, the numbers, the population numbers are important, and you could begin with those because numbers are universally understood. But underneath that are the diversity issues. All the different kinds of cultures, cultural communities, the generations, gender issues that come in with demographics. And you can add your own family to that. And your own family may be diverse in itself, and what you experience, that's going to influence how you communicate too. When you think about it, see if you can put together what influences you the most. What demographic do you belong to? What demographics, plural, do you belong to? And choose the one that you want to use for this particular communication project. When you think about it, you are going to the top of the triangle, the mindset. That's probably the most important part of the triangle, is how we think. There are two elements to that, what we believe and what we know. Belief leads to faith and hope and expectation. What we know leads to proof and knowledge, logic. Those are very different. Make sure you understand in your own mind which one you're pulling from when you communicate. And then if there's confusion, make sure, right, that you can articulate which one it is. And ask the same from the person that you're communicating with. One of the things that comes out of that practice is your style, your communication style. It will reflect everything that we've already talked about, the geography and history, the demographics and diversity, the mindset. For example, are you in a culture that is formal when you first meet or informal? That's part of who you are too. So you'll want to think about that when you meet others. If they are different from you, and they call you by your first name when no one in your culture would ever do that, you need to make sure that you can adapt to the difference right there. From the introduction. As it will come up again, but it often comes up sooner rather than later, and you need to be prepared. How do you do that? You manage your inner emotional levels when things are surprising to you and perhaps even uncomfortable. And that is the second piece of cross-cultural communication expertise. That is your conflict management style. The first thing you do is measure it. Use those numbers because those are universal. At a number 1, you're ideal, peaceful, calm. At a number 2, you're okay. You didn't get everything you wanted, but you can live with it. At a number 3, you're not so sure, you're unhappy, you're upset. It could go either way for you. Think about how you want that to go and intervene before it goes to a number 4. Because that's an impasse and it could be a nightmare. And most people don't want to go there, especially in business. It can happen. It's very hard to pull back from. So try and lower your emotion and help others people's lowers theirs. And you will have something to work with then. Because once you get past a 3 and you're on your way to a 4, the adrenaline kicks in and your decision-making process suffers. Part of the expertise is that decision-making process. You want to make wise decisions. That means you breathe and you lower the emotion. And you think about what is going to go into that decision-making. Is it the knowledge piece? Is it the belief piece? Either way, one thing you want to make sure is that you end up being trusted by your colleagues, your markets, your vendors. Trust means, right, that even if you've made a mistake, they still believe that you can do what you say you can do. That's a very important concept in business and in life, that trust. And once you lose it, it's very hard to come back to and make other people come back to you. So keep it in mind. If there's a problem and you're going towards number 4, ask questions. Take a step back. Use that conflict management skill that you're acquiring by knowing where you're feeling yourself and recognizing it in somebody else. And then you can intervene with extra knowledge, or you can be more inclusive, you can use empathy. There are all kinds of ways in which you can diffuse a difficult culture clash. Above all, keep in mind that your story, your personal story, right, is something that gives you the empowerment, right, to share with others. And tell yourself that story many times, who you are, where you came from, what your history is, what your demographics are. And share, because those are the parts of you that are going to be easily recognizable. And you'll refer to them again and again. So that's our first step in cross-cultural communication. You may find the Matrix Model Management System on Amazon, as well as its workbook. Use it and become wise. Thank you very much.